Are we ready? I'd like to call to order the December 4th, 2025 Montecito Board of Architectural Review Consent Review. Item C1 1308 Danielson. Is there anybody here for that project, please?
Hi, Heidi Jones is here. Good afternoon. John Beecham and Aaron Carroll should be online to present the plans. John?
Okay, so did you have a chance to review? Did you have any comments?
I thought it was a nice looking package of plans.
I thought it was okay too, except Heidi.
Yes.
Didn't we find the light? I did not write down which PDF it is. Right there. Okay, so you see those light fixtures, Heidi?
Yes.
Have you read the lighting ordinance?
Yes. So my understanding is most of these are, some of them are under roof overhangs.
Okay.
And those that I thought John had added notes that the glass would be treated accordingly to be compliant.
No, what he did was can you see me?
Yes.
Okay, he has put a little hood on it. Okay, but there's a thing called glare. Do you know what glare is?
I do.
Okay, so that hood, if it reduces glare, will only have light go straight down, which makes the light effectively ineffective. Okay. So usually what people do is that they frost out the glass or milk the glass.
Yes.
Is it possible to get you guys to do that? Go through the ordinance and read it. It's in the ordinance. I'm not doing anything other than the ordinance.
Understood. We can add the note to the plan and to frost the glass.
Nice looking fixtures.
Yeah, they're beautiful. I mean, all of this, but it's about glare. So it's in the ordinance. Please read it just for future reference. And besides that, I'm ready to recommend final approval to the full board. And Rob, you are too? Okay, thank you, Heidi.
Thank you.
And see you soon. Item C2, 1407 Schoolhouse Road.
Yeah, Jacob Mixto, architect here, and I believe Jessica Harlan, our landscape architect, is here as well.
Yes.
Rob, did you have any comments about this project?
Yeah, I thought the planting design, I like that it had an appropriate structure to the planting design. I thought it laid out well. I thought they did a nice job.
Yeah, I thought you did a nice job too. We did ask that you move the guest house, pool house, whatever that thing is, on center, and it looks like you did that. So I appreciate that slight revision, and I'm ready to.
Can we go to sheet? Well, go ahead. You can finish.
No.
So go to.
You've got a comment.
No, I'm amused by sheet 8.9.
Right there.
Yeah, that's my sheet. I've noticed that has ended up in a lot of people's packages. So I'm just amused by it. Anyways, I guess flattery is the best form of imitation or something like that.
So you
I thought we
originally
were given that sheet by the county.
So I just find it,
But if
these
it's
these
yours,
things circulate around, so it's funny. Okay, and imitation is the best form of flattery.
Okay, so besides that,
other than that, I just had to say that.
okay, so it is on for preliminary. County council has said we can do this at consent if and only if we ask, is there anybody attending this meeting personally or virtually who would like to make a comment about item C2 1407 Schoolhouse Road, please?
No requests.
Okay, so we will recommend preliminary final.
Yes.
Okay, at the full board. And if you'd like to stay around, it's probably about 20 minutes from now. To date, they've never gone against us. So, okay. But you could be the first. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, item C3, 525 Periwinkle. Did I see you, Chris? Afternoon, yes. And Rob, did you have any comments about this project?
I went and I guess I wrote a letter back in July on this project, and it says I recommend final approval as presented. So
Okay, so we received a very late set of plans, like this morning. Which of you did it? Changed whatever? Because we had one earlier, and then I, quite frankly, I was not willing to go through and try to figure out what you did differently. So what did you add or subtract or whatever?
We received the arborist report not too long ago, so we added the recommendations by the arborist for, how to do the work and be sensitive to the trees. So we added that information.
So just technical stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. I did not read it. I'm assuming you got it on there right. So, and then Chris, modern architecture really started in Germany a long, long time ago. And they're the dudes that loved super white buildings. But the light up there, because it's up like 55, et cetera, is very less bright than our light here. And so you have an LR a paint with an LRV of 0.89. Did you know it was that high?
Is that the simple?
That's simply white. Yeah, turn on your mic, please. That's simply white. Yeah.
Well, we can definitely tone that down because I personally don't like bright buildings and there's too many of them.
And we have asked every single applicant, with the exception of one, who was doing a small addition on a large house. It was already that, a brighter color, and it's not fair to ask him to repaint the whole house. So if you can bring it to an LRV of 0.84 or less, and if you want to point out to your client what that is, 90% of the buildings on State Street are 0.84. Okay, it was a frizzy color. It came, and they're white. They're just not glaringly white. Okay, you just turned your mic off, but that's okay. So we will ask for that to be added at the time of, okay. And again, we're on for preliminary. So is there anybody attending this meeting physically or online that would like to address the board on item C3, 525 Periwinkle Lane, please?
Hang on though, we're on for final.
The only one that I need to ask for public comment is preliminary. That's the big one. That's the one, if you don't like it, you need to appeal that one to the planning. You can't appeal final unless you know a lot more than 99% of the people in the world. Because okay, I don't want to get into it, but so is there anybody that would like to address the board on item C3, 525 Periwinkle Lane, please?
No requests.
Okay, again, we'll recommend for approval.
yeah, I thought it was I like the architecture. I thought it was well done.
Yeah, I thought you guys did a nice job on it too. So, in about 20 minutes, we'll do that at the full board. Okay,
You'll do the final.
preliminary and final.
Oh, I got it. Got it.
Okay,
Okay. Got it.
preliminary and final at the full board.
Great. Thank you.
Okay.
In case we change our mind in the next 20 minutes.
No, we won't do that. I won't do that.
All right. Good. I know you won't.
Okay, we're going to turn off the mics and things like that until 1 o'clock, which is in 5 minutes.
You doing? Good.
Great. All right, I'm not trying to run out. It's not up yet. They did not. Okay, good. Okay, well, I drove the. NCR. NCR, do some blood work, good. Yeah, there's no way to take it. I haven't done. Good. What, this is like, it's all right, I don't see any advantages on our arm. Yeah.
I'd like to call the December 4th, 2025 Montecito Board of Architectural Review to order. First item on the agenda is public comment. If you'd like to make a comment to the board on anything other than an item that's on our agenda today, please raise your hand if you're online. You guys, public comment?
No requests.
Okay, next item, agenda status report. David, what's happening here?
All right. We have two items. Items number 4, which is the property at 590 Santa Rosa Lane, and item number 6 at 306 Meadowbrook Drive. The applicants have requested a continuance to your scheduled meeting of December 18th, 2025, pending confirmation of quorum for that meeting.
Okay, we'll deal with that in a second. So can I have a motion? Oh, and David, do we have a preliminary idea how many items will be on the December 18th agenda, please?
We currently are about 6, I believe.
Which is what we have now. So if we move those over, it'll be 8.
So that's inclusive of those two.
Oh, that's
It's inclusive, yeah.
Okay. So
I'll make a motion to continue item 4, 590 Santa Rosa Lane to December 18th, 2025.
is there a second? There a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? And
No.
Bill?
Move also to continue item 6, 306 Meadowbrook Drive to the December 18th meeting as well.
Is there a second for that, please?
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Anything else?
That's it for now.
Okay, minutes. Anybody have any comments on the minutes of November 13th? This is 3 weeks ago because of Thanksgiving. Anybody? Okay, so item number 4, MBAR comments number 1. This is the one that was just putting in a porch up on the second floor, covering a porch that was already there. Restudy columns on proposed terrace, east and west elevations. Add third column, align columns with lower terrace. I thought third column, I could easily see the corner having three columns, one on each side, then 3, and then maybe one up against the wall. So I think us being that specific,
Yeah, let's take out the add third column and maybe just say line column,
Study.
lower terrace.
I actually thought that that it didn't work out that way either. For some reason, I didn't think it aligned well to just mirror it. I thought there was other issues once.
there are other issues.
He didn't model the fireplace, if I recall right.
Yeah.
So
So restudy, I mean,
I think it should be restudy columns and its relations with the lower terrace.
yes, I like that.
Okay?
Yep.
Kimberly, did you get that?
I did, thank you.
Okay. And that's all I had. I just didn't want to box everybody in.
So with that said, actually look at number 2, because
Okay.
it contradicts itself to redesign to match lower level. I think we're dealing with it in item 1.
So strike item number 2.
Yeah,
Well, I'm not so sure that the first part of that sentence or the first sentence is incorrect. Restudy the proportions. I thought
Yeah.
his proportions were wrong, and detailing of columns, I thought his details were wrong too.
so this is the last part, the read.
So just the second sentence in number 2, I think should be struck. Okay. Everything else okay there? Okay, I'll move for approval of the, what is it, November 13th, 2025
I'll second,
minutes, as amended.
I'll second that.
There, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all those opposed. Members informational briefing. Okay, so shall we deal with the 18th now? Okay, so David wants to just be sure we're not gonna lose quorum because of Christmas and other holidays that might be in that area. Will everybody be here for the 18th, which is in 2 weeks from today, please?
Yes.
Dave? Okay, possibly one out. Can you please contact Dave as soon as you know? Yes. David? Okay, very good. Anything else? Members informational briefing, go anywhere, do anything?
No, but I will be recusing myself on item number 5.
So you'll be out from 5, you're gone.
I'm gone after 4 is completed.
Well, 4 is also gone, so after 3 is completed.
Oh.
Okay. Okay, Anything else? Just so we know. One, two. So it looks like we have quorum for everything. Okay. Staff update. Kimberly, David, please.
Nothing for me, thank you.
Just something minor. So everyone should have received an invite from Tanya Crandall. The holiday luncheon is on the 17th. You're welcome to attend if you'd like. Just RSVP to Tanya. If you didn't receive an invitation, let me know and I'll make sure you get one.
Okay, Montecito consent. Montecito consent, item C1, 1308 Danielson Lane. This is a project that we did a site visit on as built, where it was sort of that eclectic. Okay, so we reviewed it. It's on for final. The only issue I saw was that the light fixtures did not comply with the glare portion of the new lighting ordinance. And I talked to Heidi Jones, and she has agreed to address that glare with an alternate type of glass.
Who's going to add language?
She's going to add language to the plan. So I'd like to make a motion for a final approval of item C1 with the requirement that the glass in front, the glass at the light fixtures comply with the lighting ordinance glare provisions. Is there a second? Is there any further discussion, please? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Carried unanimously. Item C2 is on 1407 Schoolhouse, is on for both preliminary and final. And both Rob and I thought that this project was okay as presented, even with one of the additions of it. Do you want to show them the sheet? Your sheet?
Oh, no. It's just, I don't.
I too use his sheet, just saying.
Yeah, so one of the sheets on there was originally created by Rob and is circulating right there. Okay, so I wonder why I've seen that sheet so often. Okay, so I would like to make a motion for preliminary and final. Oh, is there anybody that would like to address the board on item C2, 1407 Schoolhouse Road? It is on for both preliminary and final. Anybody, please?
No request.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion for preliminary and final approval of item C2 as submitted. Is there a second? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Okay, item C3, Stacy is going to recuse herself on this. We're again on for preliminary and final. The one comment that I had was that the LRV was 0.89, and Chris was here and said that he does not like bright buildings either and is going to provide a paint color of 0.84 or less, and he was happy to do that. So I'd like, is there anybody that would like to address the board on item C3, 525 Periwinkle Lane, please?
No requests.
I'd like to make a motion for both preliminary and final for item C3 with the condition that the white paint color have an LRV of 0.84 or less. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? All those abstaining or recusing?
Staying.
Well, recuse. Yeah, there's a difference. You,
Sorry, yeah, I can't.
okay? Item 1, 588 Paso Robles Lane. Joe, you're here. I see you've been here for a while.
I have been here. Can you hear me?
I believe this was, I think this is the right project, was presented to me as chair to try to just get me to sign off. And I did not want to do that. I felt that I wanted the board to take a look at this one just to make sure that it was done completely. So Joe, would you please, is it Joe or John?
It's Joe.
The agenda has a misspelling on it. Joe, would you
Yeah,
please go ahead, please?
it's Joe. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, great. So yeah, so 588 Paso Robles. It's a 94 square foot addition to the existing 2,300 square foot house. There's an ADU and a garage, and yes, I mean the majority of this project that you are reviewing is for the front entry porch. The rest of it is really just window replacement, door replacement. They would just like to revise the front of the house to be more present to the neighborhood. And so that front porch is what we're trying to add.
And shall we take a look at the elevations, please?
Yep.
Okay, that's pretty basic, same paint color and all that.
Yeah, and as you can see, I mean, we have some interesting roof lines that we're trying to address there to get to what they want. So it's a little complicated, but we look forward to your comments.
Okay, can we start asking questions then, please?
Yep.
Questions, Bill?
Did you look at the idea of doing just a single pitch shed off the entry there? Just, I mean, it's a very complicated roof that you've got there to deal with, obviously, and I just wondered if there was a way that, you know, had you considered other roofs for the front? Because it is a covered porch,
Yep.
and you know, could you make it a slope there, a single slope across?
Yes, I have looked at multiple different options. So yeah, shed to gable with different pitches. So yeah,
That just didn't work.
this is the
shed.
one that
Okay.
well, this is the one that worked out the best for what the client actually wanted for their front yard.
Okay. All right. That's it. Thanks.
Rob, questions, please?
I don't have any questions.
Stacy, questions?
I have no questions.
Dave?
No questions.
As it turns out, I live on Chellam and I oftentimes walk over to the school.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys did a nice job on the new parking area, but I don't see how you get from the front door to the street. What are you guys going to do with that? You have to walk down a little wood bench?
Oh, no, I mean, we'd like to put in, relocate the steps to be directly in line with the front door.
So you're going to take apart part of that new wall that you did and build in some steps?
There's actually a spot of the wall that's missing. We had we had kind of like the first thing we did was we put in that little parking area, we put in that small retaining wall, and we didn't build the portion of the wall that's directly in front of the front door because it was our hope that we'd be able to, because right now there's a weird jog, you like the gate
Oh,
was
so it moves over to that area.
correct. But then the gate is directly in front of the front door instead of being set off 40 or 50 feet.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that doesn't do, okay, that's fine, thank you. Public comment, is there anybody that would like to address the board on item number 1, 588 Paso Robles Drive, please?
And for those of us joining us online, go ahead and raise your virtual hand if you'd like to speak on this item. No hands raised.
Okay, so we are on for concept today. It's obviously a small project. Comments and what would you like to do next with this? Bill, please.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with the additions. It's minor, not a big deal. Although, is it in the setback? Go back to the site plan. So it is in the setback, but it probably works out with averaging, I assume. Anyway, that being said, you've got a big site wall in the front there. I think over time, you know, probably landscaping and such will sort of screen that. I probably would have done the entry covered porch a little differently, but I think it's fine. I'll let some of the other board members comment on that. And I could certainly see it come back for preliminary and final at whatever level everyone decides.
Okay, Rob, comments, please?
Yeah, I mean, one thing that actually is obvious from the old walk to the new walk is I think that front walk is kind of needs to be a little wider, or at least maybe fatten up at the ends. And then the other question is, I think it looks like, are you navigating a step right there by the gate where you don't have you have to have landings on both sides of a gate that's level. So I'm thinking that there may be a code issue with the way that's drawn, but I just think it should be a little wider. It looks kind of too narrow, and if you look at the old one, it kind of really jumps out at you. But other than that, I mean, it's simple, it's fine. So
Stacy, comments, please?
No comments.
Dave?
I have nothing to add. I can support it.
The reason I didn't want to do it is that, and I think these comments got back to you through the planner, is I thought it was too wide for that entry roof was too big for the house. And it's gonna overpower that entry. And, you're not that far back from the street and you don't have a perimeter hedge that would hide it. I don't see anything depicted that would show that
We did plant a privet hedge around inside the entire,
so it's low enough that I can't see it.
it's
About a foot
It-
above.
it's about a foot above the wall now in places. Yeah.
Okay, so I felt that it was just too big. I don't know if other members of the board, and that's why I would not just approve it. It looked like it was overtaking the front elevation, and it's very far forward. So, do other members have that same concern that I do?
I agree with you on that, actually.
That was kind of the issue I had when I saw it too. That's why I was thinking, if you had a shed or maybe you had a smaller gable in the center and then a shed on the two sides or something, that it would help balance it. But then I thought, well, maybe with the screening of the landscaping, you've walked it, so you probably know better.
Yeah, I walk it
Maybe.
fairly often, actually.
And maybe you wouldn't see it, so I was
It
willing.
dominates the rest of the house if you look at. So I think it's a really good comment.
So, I understand that people want what they want. I get that. It just seemed out of proportion to me. And so, do you have any comments about our comments there, either Joe or Steve?
I mean, our goal really, like, we relocated to the area just because we have two young kids. So we were longtime SB residents, but in Bel Air Knolls area. And what drew us to this area was obviously the proximity to the school, and we knew like a lot of young families there. So it's just like a totally different community than what we're accustomed to previously, in a good way. We've already made friends with like a lot of the different families there, and like the Halloween traditions and all that sort of thing. And we just really kind of want like a nice proper front porch that we can kind of embrace the neighborhood with.
Do you think it's possible to get a nice proper front porch that's not so big, so wide?
So wide.
The width is what I'm reacting to.
Can I speak to that first for a second?
Yeah,
Yes,
Joe.
please.
Okay, so the width of that was really driven by the slope of the roof, the fact that we needed to connect the two. I mean, if you look at the building in three-dimensional space, it's really hard to connect those roofs. So if you look to the left and the right of where we're actually popping that out, to somehow connect those roofs is really complicated. So that's kind of what drove that expansion to the right and to the left. Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay, I've got an idea. This is not a huge project. It is right at the school. That noise is gonna, yeah, I live next to Westmont, so.
Yep.
The noise. So what I'd like to do is we do not make a formal motion here, but recommend that you restudy the size of that entry porch.
Okay.
And what about the walk?
So I mean, my take is that the porch is too big and the walk's too small. So kind of reverse the hierarchy of it, I guess.
If you want to think about Thanksgiving,
Halloween.
Halloween, I mean, you'll get 6 or 8 kids.
Yeah.
And that walkway is not big enough for 6 or 8 kids, so they're gonna trample on your lawn or something. Just expect it. So,
I do think you could do a shed on right and left if you kept that center gable element, narrowed it down to the 2 columns that look, I think those are columns there, and had
Mhm.
sheds on both sides wrapping around that gable. That would help the proportion of it. I think you could do something there that would achieve what you want to get for a front porch and still break that proportion down and feel maybe a little better.
Okay.
I think it could be done. I'm pretty.
Yeah, I think the other consideration that's driving the size of that patio is if the current plan, there's these weird little jogs like right inside the front door, and we're closing those off.
Right.
And that kind of plays into like the roof line as well. I mean, Joe can speak to that better than we can, but
Yeah, but I think you could shed over those 2 parts with a porch. It's almost like you do a porch and then you could add the gable, the center portion of it. I think it could work.
I think that at least 3 of us, it sounds like Dave and Stacy are okay with it, think that
Great.
it's out of proportion.
okay.
And we're just asking, we're not saying no, we're just saying, can you restudy it and bring it more in proportion to that house?
Sure, of course. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It is out of proportion, but I also think it's acceptable. This is what they need.
So
I lost some audio there.
speak up, Dave.
Yeah, I said, I agree that it's out of proportion and it's too wide for the rest of the house, but I also can support the project the way it is if this is definitely what you need, but I would suggest you restudy it and confirm that.
Great.
Okay, so I think it should come
Happy
back.
to do so.
I think it should come back for preliminary final on consent. I don't think we need it at the full board anymore.
Yeah.
And we also ask for an FAR study or an FAR worksheet, which you can get on the web.
Sure.
That, just fill it out.
Mhm.
For those that are here, the FAR is 103, including the detached garage and the detached ADU. Okay? So thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next
Thank you.
time this board sees you, you will be at the consent calendar, which was the first 15 minutes.
Great. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a nice holiday. Item number
you the same.
2, 150 Santa Elena. Okay. Before you get started, you have a number of plans, site plan, all but one of them has the north arrow facing the wrong way.
Gotcha.
Okay, so please,
We will
this
correct
is a
that.
side note. Can you get it straightened
Yeah,
out?
we will correct that.
Thank you. Okay. Please go ahead.
Yes. So Dylan Henderson, Salt Architecture. Are you going to, do you need to read anything first before I get going?
We don't have any comments from, I think this is the first time we're on for concept.
Yep, absolutely. Okay. So existing 2364, existing house on the parcel. We're proposing a 384 square feet of addition. If you go to the next page, please. We're going to come back to this. This is page 2 of the existing photos, but what you can see, because we're addressing the entry, and then we have an addition off of the primary bedroom, and then we have a small addition off of one of the secondary bedrooms for a bathroom. So go to the next page, please. These are the perspectives. And so in the upper left corner, what you'll see is a proposed entry gable. If you go back one page to the photos, you'll see that there's 2 existing dormers on the front face of the house. Both of them are fairly poorly constructed, and so they're not functioning. They don't have an aspect inside of the house that reads through in the ceiling. So both of those sort of faux dormers are going to go away, and we have a new entry element, which I'll show you in elevation. Next page. And that is the proposal. So what we're trying to do is create a bit more of a formal sense of arrival that has some presence to it from the street, rather than having that recessed entry with the 2 non-functioning dormers. Next page, please. Next. Yeah. So this is the overall existing survey and site plan. Next page. This is an exhibit for top of bank and the oaks that we have in the backyard. We have a new pool going in the backyard. And Sam is on the phone. He's with Earthform, and he can present the landscape plans, or I can do that depending on whether he wants to jump in. But this is just an exhibit of our top of bank and setbacks. Next page.
Sorry, did you see Sam as your?
Sam is on.
Oh, I think I have to promote him.
Okay.
Sam, I just promoted you, so you just have to. There you go.
Great. Next page. So existing survey and site plan. Next page. So this is the existing house and sort of a demo plan, so you can see what's happening on the interior. The majority of the work that we're doing, other than the 2 small additions, which I'll show you on the next page, or interior. Next page. So the proposed addition is on the right-hand side of the screen at the primary bedroom, with a new bath that's being added that just makes it sort of more of a gracious primary suite, and a double vanity shower, water closet, and a closet, because currently there's a very, very small closet in the primary bedroom. And then we have a new bathroom being added to bed 2 there, if I'm reading that correctly. And that's because currently there isn't a bathroom servicing that. It's not great for that bedroom. And so we're adding an ensuite bathroom to that bedroom, and then extending that addition to connect to the house for an office. So that's the area of addition on that side. Underneath the existing entry roof, we are bumping out the front wall to make more space for the dining room. And that will be captured essentially by this new entry element. So that's what you see in the dark line south of the dining room on the page. Next page, please. Roof plan, proposed roof plan of what that will look like and how those roofs are tying together. Next page. These are existing elevations of the house. Next page. Now proposed elevations of the house. And so this is the rear of the house and the east side. Next page. And now the front of the house, where you can see this proposed entry element, the removal of those 2 not sort of faux dormers, and a bit of revision on that front wall where the dining room is popping out underneath the existing roof line. So we're not proposing a roof line change on the front of the house other than that new entry gable element. Next page. Landscape plans. So Sam, if you're able to speak, you could jump in and present these.
Yeah, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, and greetings to you all. It's been a long time since I've seen you, and what we're doing with this property is taking the opportunity to add an amenity to this beautiful little backyard. It's right now currently all lawn, as you saw, I think, in that first survey and some of those pictures. It's a nice large lawn, but we don't need all that lawn. We'd like the recreational ability to have some new hardscape and sitting area and a pool amenity and a spa right off the main back area. We do have some restrictions with the stream setback structurally, and also the oak root zones, the critical root zones, as well as an ESH and a coastal aspect. So there's a lot of restrictions, but we do feel like this pool in that center with some open jointed flagstone type of paving would just be a nice amenity, a very natural addition for this backyard. We have a small lawn to the south that you can see. It's much, much smaller, maybe a quarter the size of the existing lawn. So we're saving water. It's a more sustainable, more natural solution. It's all in ground. There's really no structures other than the pool. The pool equipment will be over on the north side of the house, and it's within the setback, the 10-foot setback. It'll be enclosed, and it'll have doors on it. It'll have whisper flow and low sound type pumps. Little pathways, DG, very natural addition to the landscape, drought tolerant plantings. So it's quite simple, but it's a very nice improvement for this backyard. I think that's it.
And is your presentation done?
Yes, yeah, if you'd like to see existing photos of the backyard, page 2 of that PDF, you can reference the existing photos of what that backyard currently looks like, and the pool would be going, right off of the
Yeah, and you can see how small the little patio is now, and the furniture is all crowded there. So we're taking the opportunity to expand the hardscape in the outdoor living area, off of new doors, off the study, and those doors all would come out to patio space and a smaller, more intimate yard with a very nice amenity and recreational pool.
Is that it?
Yes.
Questions, Dave?
Does the pitch of the new entry roof match the rest of the house?
Yes, it does.
Okay,
It does.
that was my question.
Is that it? Stacy?
Just question to Sam. Hey, Sam, is there some reason to hedge off so that, is it the creek, is it not attractive? How high is that hedge gonna be?
Well, we think we'd use the Catalina cherry and let it just be natural back there, Stacy. But there are, believe it or not, even though there's a creek there, the creek is so deep that you can really not see it at all. It drops off very severely. And directly across on the other opposite bank to the east is another house and another backyard, and you can see other people and they can see across. So we're trying to create a little privacy from direct views from the neighbor across the creek, actually.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Rob, questions?
Hey, Sam, this is kind of a tough one. What's the existing flagstone versus the new flagstone? It's kind of a, how are you proposing to deal with that kind of edge? Are you just leaving the existing edge and then butting up new flagstone to it, or are you going to try to
I
integrate it a
think,
little
Rob,
more?
we're going to be taking out all the hardscape back there and replacing it in new and in kind. So we'll be matching it all
Okay.
up. We have a new landing at each door. We have a new landing coming out the door of the rear area that's popping out. So all the new hardscape will integrate as a new
So it's
addition
all,
as
it's all,
opposed
it's
to
all
matching.
new.
It's all it's all new, yes, because there's too many things happening back there to try to
Yeah.
save any of it.
Okay, I thought you were trying to save it. And then the other question is, what is that inverted step in the corner? What is that? What's happening there?
We've got two doors that open, one kind of facing directly east and the other facing north. So we're catching both those doors with that landing. The little inverted area is to give better clearance around the spa and around the pool. So instead of making that a square and pinching because it's 2 steps up to the finished floor, the idea is to take that little offset return and make more space at the lower
So is
level.
the whole thing a step? The
It's
whole out,
the whole upper, it's like a
the whole
little
edge
raised
of it
porch.
is
Yes,
is a step?
it's a
Okay.
step up to get to the
Okay.
finished floor.
All right, thank you.
Bill?
Are you removing any trees, Sam?
Yes, Bill, we've got
For the
one
pool?
tree to the northwest corner, an oak tree, and it's been trimmed very poorly. It's leaning towards the creek in a way that is a concern. We have Duke McPherson involved in the project. Duke has looked at the tree. It is a healthy tree. It did find some root rot at the base, but in general, we're thinking that all of the backyard works better. The canopy of the tree directly east of that really encompasses the whole area, and that one tree doesn't really have a very nice canopy as well. So we're proposing to remove that, but replace it 1-to-1 with a 48-inch box oak tree that's directly to the north of that. You see that little small canopy that's a little squiggly. That is a 48-inch mitigation oak that we're proposing to take its place. We have a lot of nice oaks. We're trying to enhance the view of the aesthetics of the branching structures of all those. And this one tree that's leaning takes away from the tree directly north of the pool, in our opinion. So we're going to take that out and mitigate with another one.
Will some of your hardscape there, like the path that leads from the pool toward the what looks like a bocce court, is that are you going to do some grass joints in some of it, or is it all going to
It's
be
all going to be
grouted?
gravel, and it's going to be open jointed.
Oh,
Gravel
gravel between the
pathways towards
joints.
the bocce area, and it'll be open jointed flagstone that goes in and underneath any of those. So it'll all be permeable.
Got it. And then Dylan, your roof material, you have a 2 and 12. Are you proposing asphalt shingle on the whole building then?
If you go to page 2 of the PDF, those are the existing asphalt shingles that are on the house. And
So I've had trouble in the past on 2 and 12s when they're too low of a pitch. And 2 and 12, is there an underlayment or something you can put on the asphalt, or do you have to go to a standing seam, or what do you?
no, on the certainty, the presidential line, if you use their prescribed underlayments on that, you can get down to a 2 and 12.
2 and 12
shingle. Yeah.
Okay.
It's something obviously we'll look at if it needs to increase to 2.5 to comply with what I would need to look back at that. But I know with their presidential line, you can get a underlayment to work.
Okay. All right. That's it. Thanks.
Can you go out to Google Maps, not Google Earth, but Google Maps? The house is running on a north-south axis, not an east-west axis. So the pool is on the east side of the house, not on the north side of the house.
Correct.
Okay, so I just wanted everybody to see that so that when you're looking at the plans, you know where you are.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. Okay, and I have no questions besides that. Public comment, is there anybody that would like to address the board on item number 2, 150 Santa Elena Lane, please? I think it's Lane.
And if you're joining us online, you'd like to speak on this item, raise your virtual hand. No requests.
Okay, so we're on for the very first time today, mostly a landscape project, but some architecture. Dave, comments, please.
I think the project as a whole looks fine. It's pretty low impact. My two comments about the architecture, one that entry gable seems too steep to me to match the residence. It's steeper than 5 and 12, and feels kind of narrow. So opposite of the last project, I feel like this one might want to be lower and widen. I think it's, if this is the only way to do it, that's fine, but I would suggest that you study that. And then as far as I like the landscape plan. It does seem to have a lot of paving area in the backyard. I'm just wondering if you could introduce more planting to soften it a little more, because you're kind of going from lawn to a lot of paving. But those are just suggestions to study. But overall, I can support the project.
Stacy, comments, please.
I actually agree with both of Dave's comments that the front entry seems a little underwhelming since you're going to change it anyway. And but I think you are on the right track from what's existing right now. So it's almost like a lost entry. But I agree, it's like I think it needs to be broadened, maybe enlarged slightly more. And then too, I felt like the backyard, there is quite a bit of paving. I think it could be slightly reduced, but I do appreciate that for the most part, it is permeable. And the furniture does help give us an idea of how much usable space. So it's telling me that it's not actually a huge backyard. that it's reasonably sized and overall, I mean, I'm fine with it. That's it.
Rob, comments, please.
Yeah, I agree with my fellow board members' comments. I mean, I think overall, you folks have done a nice job. It's just minor details. I mean, my comment on the existing paving with the new five-sided flagstone is you kind of have a line there, and it seems like the five-sided shape should kind of dictate that face between the between what is grouted and what is not grouted. And I do think you could reduce some of that paving. Detail again on the steps, the inverted stuff, I find that could be cleaned up because those tend to be trip steps, those inversions like that. And then the front driveway, walkway. I'm kind of consistent on this, is I always like this hierarchy that the front walkway to the street should kind of read as the most important. And I know that connection from the driveway to the front door is needed, but I think you could it would benefit to kind of maybe have stepping stones and break that up a little bit so that the walkway from the street is what kind of reads as the most important dominant element. But I mean, I support, these are just minor details. I think you're doing a nice job.
Bill, comments.
Yeah, I think it looks good. I like the architecture of the house. I think that looks fine. I'm actually okay with the entry porch, maybe a front shot looking at that elevation again. But anyway, the paving in the back, I think maybe is a little much, and maybe even just simply where the connection that leads to the bocce court from the pool could even just be stepstones or, maybe some reduction of that hardscape area would be helpful, but the rest of it looks good.
And I have no further comments except I had a project with a 2.5 12, and there's a couple of things out there. One of them is called the building code, and the other one's called there's an industry standard. And the contractor refused to put it on without the industry standard.
Got it.
Okay, so I think it has nothing to do with us, but one professional to another, so you might look into that.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So we're on for concept today, first time. What do we want to do with this next? Please. Full board? Stacy, full board?
You go to preliminary final, but full board.
Full board. Dave, you good with that?
Full board.
Yeah, full board preliminary final.
Okay, great.
Okay, including lighting and paint colors and all that. Oh, also on PDF number 10, you had multiple roof hatches. I think you've only got one roofing material, right?
Go to 10.
No, those are the roof hatches in the upper right-hand corner.
Maybe the hatching in the program got wonky on me.
So
you'd have to zoom in for me to see what's happening.
it looked to me like only one roof hatch.
He has only kind of, but I think it's demonstrating all of your.
Oh yeah, that's just a key, but the hatch on the actual roof on the drawings is.
Yeah, maybe it would be simpler to keep, so I didn't have to think.
Okay.
Rid of everything.
All right.
All wood shake.
Yeah.
Roofing, correct?
It's all shake. No, asphalt shingle roof.
Asphalt or fiberglass?
Well, right now the roof that's there is an asphalt shingle roof.
Are you in I think you're in high fire above Route 101.
Right. So we're not proposing replacing all of the roofing on the whole house.
You ought to check with the fire department.
Yep, that'll be part of that next planning review. So yeah,
very good.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you all.
Item number 3, this is 404 Cockersbury Road, the Burnham Wood Golf Club. I will read this because we haven't been here, haven't seen this for a while. 4 new non-corporate, no, that's the project description. Our comments. MBAR appreciates response to previous comments regarding the parking configuration and location. MBAR likes architecture and site plan. Parking and pool areas need more shading. Consider adding trees and other shade protection parking structures elements. provide shade study with a goal of beating 50% shade coverage in 10 years at the parking lot. Soften the parking lots and pool areas, increase and enhance landscaping, reduce hardscape, expand plant palette, study alternative stormwater solutions, provide additional screening for mechanical areas and small outbuildings, enhance project design and details, particularly landscaping, refine details to establish a more resort-type environment. Generally, MBAR can support the project and likes the direction the project is taking. Redesign pool hardscape to invoke more traditional style.
Hi there. Good afternoon, Chair Watson and board members. Thanks for reading the comments from last time. I'm going to give introductions and a quick permitting update, and then we'll have our landscape architect run through the comments from last time. So Caitlin Ernest with SEPS Land Use Consulting, Brian Cornell and Lisa Lyles, project architects, and Katie Klein, landscape architect. So yeah, brief permitting update. The conditional use permit amendment was approved in November by the planning director, and we are here today to request preliminary approval. We appreciate all of MBAR's feedback so far and look forward to addressing your comments today. So with that, I'll turn it over to Katie.
Just before you get started, Katie, I'd like to make a general announcement. Items number 4 and 6 have been continued. So there will be this item and item number 5 only. So if you're interested in either 4 or 6, we will not hear that today. Thank you, Katie.
Thank you. Can you go to page 21? It's the landscape site plan. Thank you. Can you zoom into the parking area? I'll address number 3 first. Parking and pool areas need more shading. Consider adding trees and other shade protection structures and elements. So we've added 4 more trees. Previously, this is another comment. We couldn't get any trees in the center median because it was our bioretention. So we've worked with civil in that center median to get 2 more trees. And then we've added 2 more trees to the north of the property line or the property scope of work on the parking lot. So I just want to add that we have a total of 25 trees now in the parking lot. We've added 4 more from the previous plan. And I also want to bring up that the existing conditions only have 6 trees and 2 palm trees in the parking lot. And I can show you if you'd like on the survey and our tree protection plan. So I just want to bring that up because we are significantly increasing the shade canopy within that area. And then if you want to go to the pool, so that's the next sheet, 22. So we've worked in this area. Because of fire, we cannot get trees close to the buildings. We have to keep some of the trees smaller, and the client would really like to keep the area as flexible as possible. So you can see clear our layout for umbrellas and cabanas, and we've also increased more planting area. That's another comment that I'll hit back on, but there's more green space. We've increased the green planters around the pool and then also at the dining areas and then where the restroom is. And then comment 4, just going back to the parking and the pool area shade study, we feel like we've increased the amount of canopy as much as possible on the site. So we have not done a specific study, but we've maximized the trees that we can. So 5, soften the parking lots and pool areas, increase and enhance landscape. I just touched on that. 6, expand plant palette. If you go back to the previous sheet, and you can zoom into the images. So we've added more plants, we've added more varieties of aloe, dianella, ground covers, and I've also provided more specific for the entry what our palette looks like in the pool deck with images so you can get a better idea of the feel. Burnham Wood Golf Course has their specific plant list that they like to draw from. So I am adding to their list of approved plants, but we're really trying to stick to the plants that they like to see.
And then 7 was study alternative stormwater solutions. I already touched on that. That was really in relation to getting more trees into that center median for the parking lot. So it's still a bioretention area. Our civil engineer has said that that is the best way to go, but we're working with him on detailing to make sure that we can get trees in that area. And then 8 was provide additional screening for mechanical area and small outbuildings. So if you zoom in, now it's highlighted clearer in a darker green of where we already have, there's already existing hedging at the front entrances, and it's called out. So anything that's that dark green is hedging where mechanical is. So that's already existing. And then if you go to page 14, architecture has provided photos of screening for that area as well. Do you guys want to touch on any of this? It's pretty clear. You can see there's already existing hedging in this area.
I mean, this shows inside of that area, but the hedging surrounds it, so it really isn't visible to anyone unless they're inside that area.
Great. And then 9 is enhanced project design and details, particularly landscape, refined details for more resort type environment. So if you go back to page 21 in that landscape plan, we've kind of honed in, if you scroll down to the materials a bit better, and provided score lines at the pool for the colored concrete and sizes and, you know, what we're really thinking. So this was on the plans previously, but we're thinking for that front entrance from the parking lot. So we also have in the parking lot permeable pavers, which is very nice enhancement. Currently, there's no pavers in the parking lot. The front entrance will be a nice stone or a Schlegel concrete to look like stone for your front entrance. And then the patio will be a colored concrete. And the stone walls will be a nice stone around the buildings. And then towards the back of the parking lot, we're just replacing a wall of what it looked like before. And that's that boulder stone wall image.
We should mention too, Katie, if you'll scroll down a little bit, the last time you looked at this, the permeable pavers in the parking lot were sort of randomly placed. And so we've actually added some and centered it about that main axis of the front door.
Yeah, if you zoom into the center entry path from the parking, you can see now, as Brian said, there's permeable parking on either side of the center median to guide you into the front entrance.
And then it's continuous along that back row.
I think that touches everything.
Brian, did you have anything?
I would, if you would like to go through the architecture plans again, we've really not done, you know, the primary comments in your minutes were the landscape.
Does anybody feel that's needed? Dave? No? Let's save the time. Okay.
Sheets 15 through 18 do have renderings too, if you wanted to go through those of the architecture.
And obviously, I mean, we talked about this before, but while you're looking at these, I mean, we don't want to detract from the beautiful stonework of the original Cockersbury plant or packing house. So these buildings really are intended to be very quiet and simple and secondary to that clubhouse. Same roof materials, same detailing.
So are you guys done then, please?
Yes.
I think most of it's a landscaping issue, so Rob, please start. Questions?
Could we go to on your so let me ask you on the stormwater, did you folks look at doing chambers?
I believe we have our civil engineer online. Wes, if you're online and want to handle that question.
Yes, of course. We are going to be incorporating chambers in the lower parking lot by the proposed new pro shop. But in the main parking lot area, since we've incorporated permeable pavers, that results in less hardscape than was in the existing condition. So we don't need to do chambers for detention to attenuate peak flows to pre-project levels. And the county typically prefers bioretention as the
So let me just help you cut
Sure.
to the chase. My only reaction is that the only trouble I've had with the stormwater is on the land at the entry side, those stormwater kind of as the entry to the project seems like I find those retention basins don't tend to look good unless they're really executed well. And so as the main arrival to the project, it would be nice if there's another spot to take that stormwater instead of kind of along that edge as you go into the project. So that's really what I'm driving at.
Oh, I see.
Wanted to see if that was a
Yeah.
possibility of relocating that somewhere else. So
Well, we have the way that it's graded, we have the low point kind of towards the middle where the bioretention is. And I think that's kind of necessary because we need to drain away from the existing structure. And at the northern interface where the golf course is, it's actually a couple feet higher in contours. So that's kind of the natural area where we have to drain to. And I'm pretty confident that it will be well executed, given the landscaping in the surrounding areas of Burnham Wood. And
okay, that's
I've
were
actually
you
been there
talking
well
about the ones?
buyer-
Are you talking about the ones along the road next to the pool? Or are you talking about?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
yes,
talking about in the
those-
main parking lot.
Yeah, he's talking, I think, about the ones that are along the pool, along the main, what road is that? It's not
I think it's Burnham Wood.
the main drive, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen them. I look at Whole Foods as where it's been unsuccessful having, retention basins and kind of a main visible area like that as you arrive into the project. Anyways, this is questions we can maybe kind of dive into it when I get into comments, but that's just wanted to think about that. So I don't have any more questions. Thank
And
you.
I can just address that quickly. We can make sure to do a nice planting plan. I think when it's seeded or it's just grass, so we can provide variety in our planting plan. We can hopefully address that concern.
Stacy, question, please.
Let's start with the parking lot. Then what is your proposed planting for the bioswale at this point?
We have not done a planting plan yet, but preferably native plants that are low water that can handle more inundation of water.
That's the problem sometimes with the bioswales, because you have a giant burrito underneath there, is that you're going to find that you have to use something probably higher water use, and water it all the time. This is part of my thing about LID and some of these issues. They want low water use, but the way that's set up, low water use doesn't do well. And so I would encourage you to look at, and I'll get to comments about that, things to look at, I think, for that. But I think that's a key question. You'd put in island oaks, though, into the bioswale, it looks like?
Yes, we did.
And then it's just, am I reading this correctly? It's just olives and island oaks for this parking lot area?
Correct.
Okay, and then could you tell me, what are the trees going down to the pool area? What are the existing trees surrounding that?
You mean along the road?
Yeah.
Ficus. Those are large.
Those are giant ficus?
Yes.
Okay. And the planting along the edge, when I looked at it and I looked down below, it looks like it's all very small still in the pool area, the plantings along the wall edge.
Interior of the so we haven't selected those plants yet, but I would imagine that they aren't small at all because it's a taller wall, so we'd want to make that
And what's the
cut it in
width
half.
on the edge planting?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
What's the width of your edge?
That the dimension of the planter, it's around 4 feet, 3 to 4 feet.
Okay. And then did you look at, because you mentioned you're not using trees in that area because of fire. But I think fire oftentimes approves like fruit trees and smaller tree species in these areas. Did you try any other trees within this area? Because it seems to me you still have a lot of space.
Yeah, thank you.
Dining area.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. We do have citrus trees, the smaller trees that we've placed in the patio
Where are they?
exterior. By the bathroom, we have one, and then at one of the entrances, in the center where all the seating is.
Just those two tiny ones?
Yes, and then we're over by the cart parks. We have some, but that is
Okay.
Yeah, I also just want to reiterate the club's operations under their conditional use permit. They're authorized approximately 50 events per year, and this space is highly utilized for those. So they want to keep it open as possible to have flexibility for their members.
Another thing that I forgot to mention is we added movable planters on the west side of the pool behind the lounge chairs. Those are movable planters we're adding
Oh,
at the pool deck.
got it. Right. Those are all my questions.
Bill, questions?
Yeah, Dave, could you go to the front rendering of the building, front rendering of the building? And I know that the rendering that shows that front doesn't reflect, keep going. There we go. It doesn't reflect any of the trees that you're proposing. I know there's two flanking kind of wide. Is there a reason why you couldn't have two a little like flanking this wide? I know this path is also wider because of the 3D, but is there a reason why you couldn't have maybe a couple of trees there at the flanking the entry possibly too?
It's
Help soften that.
Yeah, I would love that. But one of the comments was to keep that view open as well, just to, the entrance and see the stone, but also because of fire, we can't place trees close to the building.
Well, it would be, if you go back to your site plan, the colored one, it would be in the same line as the other two that are there now. Just a thought. See,
Could you point that out?
you've got 4 there against the building. I was just saying, put another 2 more kind of flanking that walk. Is that possible?
Like the main entrance?
Yeah.
It's too close to the building for fire.
I think though, Katie, the question is those 2 that are far at both ends of the stone building, could we put 2 more flanking that entrance exactly, right?
Oh, like pop them out.
Right.
Yes, yes,
Right.
got it. Yes.
Put a finger in.
Yeah. I don't see any. No, we don't have parking there anymore, do we?
No.
They're parallel? Yeah, we got rid of the parking there. So yes, we could do that.
Yeah, that's a good comment.
So is that?
That's it. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, and Dave, questions, please?
No questions.
Kimberly, are you there, please?
I am indeed.
I continue to be concerned about the heat in an increasingly warm world. And I'm wondering if we can approve 2 plans for that pool patio area, one that would have a structure in it, like an arbor or something, and one with what they want now, so that they'd never need to come back to planning, MBAR, building, et cetera. Is that legal? Is that possible, please?
I think it would be difficult to craft a condition, but not impossible.
I can't say it again, please. I didn't understand.
I think it would be, it's not a standard practice to approve 2 different plan sets. We could potentially craft a condition that would do an either or type situation so that they could substitute out if for the plans that they want, if appropriate.
I mean, John, I think the club would be happy to come back if they find that there is a heat gain problem in that area. And again, we're assuming there's going to be a lot of umbrellas in there.
I'm just trying to come up with a way to get it done. And then, so that was my question. Okay, public comment. We are on today for, what are we on for today?
Preliminary.
Preliminary. Okay, big one. So is there public comment on item number 3, 494 Crocker Sperry Road, Burnham Wood, please? Anybody?
No requests.
Okay, we are on for preliminary. Rob, comments?
I mean, I think from where we first saw this project, as far as the parking lot goes, it's improved quite a bit. But my comments, I think, are going to be more specific detailing. I'm wondering on that backup space that flanks the entry, you got zone 1 and 2. Do you have the ability to maybe put some permeable paving and kind of soften that up right there? You have that planter up against the building, and then it seems like you have that backup space where you get car overhang, and it seems to be nice to extend that green kind of element, get it further into the parking lot.
I'm sorry, Rob, where are you talking
So
about
like where
those?
it says zone 1 on either side of the entry paving, right? It seems like isn't that just backup space right there, or is that parking, or what is that in particular?
No, it's just back out space. So you're saying, could we enlarge that?
So no, I'm saying like you have the ability to maybe create like paving that has green joints in it, or permeable paving, so that you basically the car, you're using the car overhang to have a little bit more sense of green. You have the planter, and right now you have asphalt. So change the asphalt to permeable paving just for kind of part of it, so that where you're using that part for backup space, it isn't asphalt, it's permeable paving, and just softens it a little bit, greens it up a little bit.
I mean,
You look confused, so
well,
I guess I'm not
I'm a
being
little
clear.
confused because Katie, I need to ask you, I mean, we're not parking there.
Yeah, it's like a valet, like turn around space for like backing up.
Somebody to
Or just accent, or maybe bring accent paving in there or something, rather than just kind of upscale a little bit. I guess that's where I'm going with it.
So you're thinking like from the edge of the planter extension with the 2 trees that where we were talking about adding 2
Yes,
more.
yeah, just kind of fill that in with another
Fill that in with
4 to
the permeable
6 feet of
pavement.
yes, exactly. Thank you. Sorry that I'm not
Yeah, I mean,
clear. Can we look at the entry walk for a second going into the building? There was that 3D perspective that you have. And maybe it's the perspective.
Yeah, next one. One more.
It looked like on some stuff that edge didn't really line up with anything, that it needs to kind of work with the architecture a little better. Maybe it does there, but it didn't look like on one of the plans I saw that it looks awfully wide, and that it could work with the architecture and how it engages the architecture a little better. And then as far as the one comment we had that I thought was kind of and the pool area, I still kind of feel like, and maybe this is what John's driving at, is I still feel like it lacks intimacy. And how you get there, I guess I leave it to you folks, but adding trellises, maybe adding kind of clusters of planters or something. I mean, when you look at one of your 3Ds, it looks like a sea of paving. And I know you have furniture there, but it feels like a sea of paving. And I think some of the intimacy and kind of creating a little more separate, intimate spaces is still not there for me.
Yeah, I mean, the struggle here is, I think that the programming for the club really is to have, larger events in that space. And so they really don't want to have it be broken up with structure.
And maybe that's then where things need to be movable or something, but it needs looks like it's missing some kind of structures to kind of create some more intimate spaces. So, and then oh yeah, back to the stormwater management. So again, I feel really pretty strong on not having the stormwater management along that edge. I think that needs to be an inviting landscape edge. And so I think the stormwater component of that needs to be brought somewhere else, even if it's the low spot. It just, I've seen that. I've just not seen that be successful in a lot of places where I've seen it.
So
and that's why I'm looking at Chambers. What's that?
You're talking about that main center area of
I'm talking about by the pool on the road.
Okay, so you're talking
road.
about on the road.
Yeah. So I just like to see those. I think those retention basins need to be put somewhere else. and create, I mean, that's an opportunity to really create something inviting with the landscaping. And I think the retention basins won't be successful there is my concern.
So Wes, to question to you, if we did get rid of those two detention basins there, what would the substitute be from your standpoint, just roughly?
Is to find another spot to have the permeable paving so it calcs out.
I'm just wondering if Wes has a comment. I mean, does it just require another chamber, or what would be?
Okay.
So that pool area and patio is kind of its own sub drainage management area. And we would have to, drain water from that to a landscape area to put in bioretention somewhere. And there's just not really anything nearby where I feel like we could accomplish that. We could look at the possibility of going to a subsurface solution and maybe something underground that would kind of substitute and reduce the footprint of what the bioretention basins would be, but it's going to take a bit of study. I feel like it has to kind of go in that area just for gravity and drainage and lack of other areas in the immediate vicinity where we could put something there.
We
But
can't.
we could
We can't
possibly
really. We can't put a tank there because we got those ficus.
I mean, if you bank the dirt against those wall, and I don't know if there's some existing trees you're trying to preserve there, but if you bank the dirt against that wall, then you're not having a low spot there. And then you could try to drain that water somewhere else to some of your other retention spots. Anyways, that's kind of my comment on that. And those are my comments. So thank you.
Stacy, please, comments.
I think you've brought the plan, especially the parking lot is looking a lot better. I agree with Bill Wolf, though, that I think if you could add 2 more trees at the entry, especially, that would really help soften it. I mean, I know it was Robert Sen who was very concerned about seeing the old architecture and really having that expressed and not covering that up. I don't think that the trees would cover it up. I think it would still be very exposed, but also more comfortable and more inviting with a couple more additional trees. I personally have no problem with the bioswale in the middle of the parking lot. And I think if it's planted well and kept up well, it's all about maintenance, that it can actually be quite attractive. And it's just a matter of investment and maintenance. And please do look at more medium use plants, although Carrick Save also does do pretty well in each situation, inundated, not inundated. You just have to make sure it's just tough as nails. And I like and we like it because it stays green year round. I think Rob's comments about the bioswales on the road, I have a suggestion that could possibly get both sides there. I think you still need the bioswales. I understand it for function. Also, too, who wants to go burying stormwater? It's very expensive and costly, and it's hard on the trees, whereas those ficus would actually benefit if we were swaling adjacent to them. Maybe consider adding a hedge along the side of the road, just like a waist-high hedge, and then the bioswale will be behind it. So you don't really see it then. So from his visual problems with it, it's gone. So maybe just
almost
as a suggestion, maybe just
along the wall,
yeah,
all the way along.
yeah, but right along the road, if you just go with a waist-high like hedge material, because I think that keeps in with Burnham Wood's look too. And just kind of just hide the bioswale a little bit on the entry coming in, and who cares? My biggest concern still, though, is the pool area. It's not great. And I'm empathetic towards, ownership and management wanting to have it be very flexible space and for maximum events. And I still think that if you put in like 4 canopy trees, it doesn't preclude you from events or flex space, because it feels still very stark and very harsh, and not even all the umbrellas in the world. I mean, I was just at a place in Carpinteria, the new place that they have, and all of the edges, everyone's sitting, they have all these umbrellas and stuff, but certain times of day, they don't provide enough shade. Everybody was, moving to these little shade areas with the umbrellas, and half of the space wasn't usable. Whereas if we just either had shade structure or a large shade canopy, but everything below it is completely flexible. But it just, right now, it still just doesn't feel, it feels kind of dated, like kind of 70s dated. Not very kind of future, but rather very kind of past, but like not in a way that feels like it's moving forward. I don't know, it just needs a little more work, and maybe it's just, I'll be convinced when you come back with full planting plans. But something is still kind of missing in that, but everything else I think is definitely on the right path.
I have a question. Do you think you would prefer the 4 well-placed trees over a structure, a trellis structure?
Yeah, I mean, it's more maintenance to have the trees, but there's something just more gratifying. But I mean, it could be either or, honestly, if it's well done either way.
Would you be open to movable planters with trees in them if we can figure that out?
You can't do big trees in movable planters. Movable planters are kind of, I think they're a pain. You'll end up, they'll just get neglected. They'll get shoved to the side and they'll eventually just die. They take too much care. Things planted in the ground do much better. Always.
That it?
That's it.
Bill, comments, please.
Yeah, I like the architecture. I think you did a great job. I commend you on adding all the trees to the parking, and I like what you've done there. My comment about adding 2 trees flanking the entry, I think is pretty simple. And in terms of the pool, maybe there's a way to soften the edges of it even, and not necessarily something in the middle. I know that's kind of where you want to break up the big patios, but maybe you could do some cantilevered trellis elements that kind of run the perimeter, and you can get vines that kind of climb up on it, or something that might help soften and green and create some shade, maybe against the side there, is that the east side of the pool. You could create a cantilevered trellis that has vines climbing on it, just to create some shade. Just some ideas to just kind of soften the area up. Otherwise, I think you did a great job. I think it looks good.
Dave, comments, please.
Yeah, I really appreciate the way you've worked with the board, taken the comments to heart, and I think you did an excellent job of responding. The plan now is much improved, especially the parking, and the trees are great. I really like Bill's idea of adding a couple more trees flanking that entry, even if they are in front of the historic building. I still think that would be soften it and make it great. And I like the ideas of softening the pool to the extent you can do that and make it work with your program. But overall, I just really appreciate how you've worked with us, and I think it's looking really good.
That it? Kimberly, I'm back with you. Are you there?
I am.
The San Ysidro Ranch and the Biltmore submitted sets of plans to us this year. Are those plans publicly available so that Brian and his team could review them or not? Copyright, all that good stuff.
Yes, they can review them. I would have to check to see if they could be electronically transmitted. Issues.
You'd have to do what?
You'd have to check to see if they are signed off to allow electronic transmittal, or if they provided a massing diagram in lieu of that release.
Okay, and you would be able to do that and then contact
Henry?
No, it looks like Keena.
Kiana's our planner.
Kiana, is that your planner?
Kiana.
Yeah, okay.
Henry
So
is
if you would do
the
that, please.
Biltmore planner.
Okay, so one of the interesting things about this job is that we get to see a lot of different projects. And I think every one of us is viewing this as sort of one of my clients says, underperforming pool area. And I think we're hoping for you to come up with something that's more heartfelt rather than more intellectually, we want a lot of different, this and that. Now, to probably get that, I think you're going to need to create a storage area for some of the things that you have so that you can move some of the things in and out of a storage shed, which I don't see here. And I think you could get that. So there are some ramifications to what I'm saying. But if you have the ability to see those plans, the pool area, I was concerned about the historical quality of the Biltmore, as I'm sure many of you know. But I thought that given the concept that he employed, that felt pretty nice. And they're going to have 10 people there, and they're going to have weddings with 300 people there. And, I think it's going to work. And it's has a quality to it that you don't have now. And so I would hope that you can get your hands on those plans and just take a look at it. I'm not asking you to copy them, but just get the feel of them and see whether or not that's something that your client would like to entertain. But as I said, it's probably going to require some kind of an additional storage area to be able to move some of that in and some of that out under different circumstances. You have 50 events, is that what you said? You're permitted, something like that. So I think you need some flexibility, but having said that, I think your plan's nice, with the exception of the pool area. I understand the client's desire. That's a long, long way from any publicly visible road. And so at a certain point, it's like, why should we have any comment at all about it? But I don't think we're trying to impose anything. I think we're trying to suggest that there may be greater opportunity here than you've taken so far. But I'm easily able to vote for this. It's a nice project and it's way far away from a public road. And if anything, our job is to protect the public from the public right of ways. Okay, having said that, is there any further comments from anybody? We are on for preliminary today.
I have a solution for your bioswale. In addition, I think the hedge is a nice idea, but I don't want to hide that space. I think that landscape is an important landscape that adds to the sense of arrival to that space. I don't know if you can see that, but you basically create kind of a false front where you put the retention basin. Can you see that? You berm up.
Are you saying put a little lower wall along?
Yeah, on the back end, you berm up to it and then you hide the retention behind it. So you can't, so then it doesn't matter if it doesn't look good. And then that whole landscaped area in front of it is kind of the chance to make that sense of arrival and landscape really nice. So anyways, that's an idea that
So I guess my
trying to be
question
productive.
to the board, Mr. Chair, if it's appropriate, is just do we think we can craft a condition here that we will come back on final with these solutions?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We're not going to have you come back. My vote is to give you preliminary, and then maybe we'll try to look for other things on final.
Just details. I think you guys have done a really nice job. So.
Yeah. Okay, is there somebody that would like to make a motion?
Yeah, I'd like to move to grant preliminary approval for the plan as submitted for the address at 494 Crocker Sperry. Do we need to add the conditions in
Well,
this
the
to?
condition I would ask for is to further study. The condition I'd ask for is to further study the pool area.
Okay.
And just,
With the further.
Add 2 trees at the.
and add two
Right.
trees at
So
the
with the
front.
condition to further study the pool area and to add 2 trees flanking the entry walk into the front entrance of the building.
Could we add I think I have a viable, I think it'll work, this bioswale solution to hide the bioswales.
And study the bioswale.
And to study the bioswale on the east side of the pool. Is that right?
Yes.
Then maybe increase the paving or enhance paving along the front on both sides of the
This,
entry walk.
it's called Zone 1, Zone 2.
Yeah, just maybe we can kind of get a little bit more permeable paving or accent paving in there that right now is kind of as opposed to asphalt, I guess.
And also to increase the permeability of the paving
No,
area.
just more accent paving, which is mostly backup space and kind of no.
Well, it's really, it's actually for people to pull in, parallel park. And
So if you have
that would be
permeable
nice.
paving or accent paving, then I think it'll add to it actually.
Exactly.
But also consider adding a permeable paver accent paving on the east and west side of the walk entry into the building. Is that it? Fine.
Okay, so Kimberly, did you get all that, please?
I think so. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there a second?
I can second that, yeah.
Rob's got it. Any further discussion, Dave?
Is it final on consent or final full board?
Full board, yeah. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Thank you, gentlemen, ladies. Have a nice holiday, please. Last item today because of what? Yeah, I was going to comment, but I decided not to. Grandpa.
I will be
shaving the day after the election.
Actually, I think you look a lot like David Letterman these days.
Letterman, yeah, exactly. Letterman.
You mean the one 5 years ago, or? That's just a year?
But I think you can dye it and get different effects.
Or you probably have lunch in there too.
Take a couple berets and you're Willie Nelson.
I'm going to
Okay, so
myself and leave the building.
Bill has a conflict with Bill Wolf has a conflict with item 5, so is out. We have 4 left, so we do have a quorum. Okay, so item number 5. See you in a couple weeks, everybody. Or Bill, comment. Item number 5, 750 Picacho Lane. You are here. Okay, very good. So who would like to take off? Who would like to lead this item, please?
Hi, good afternoon, board members. This is Eric Baer with AB Design Studio.
Okay, Eric. So we have several comments. Let me read them, please. 1, install landscape screening along the south property line. 2, please return with north-south site sections. 3, applicant to provide screening along southern property line along with additional sections to demonstrate the proposed screening will meet or exceed the previous landscape screening that was removed. Okay, and before we get started, there was a public comment last time. Is there anybody that's going to want to address the board at the appropriate time, please? Nobody? Okay, so Eric, please, the floor is yours.
Great, thank you. I think as you just read the minutes there, Mr. Watson, we had one main comment to address from our preliminary design approval, which was the privacy screening along the south property line. Just pulling up the set on my end here. I believe we can go straight to the site sections and the exhibits that we prepared since the last hearing to help talk through that comment, which was page 28, I believe. So here you can see we prepared the north-south site section. We can see the property to the south, which is page right on the aerial image below. And I think what's important for this discussion, which wasn't communicated during the discussion around this issue at the last hearing, was that there actually is ocean views available at the ground floor of this structure. And so we can toggle between this sheet and the next sheet, but if you click forward one page to page 29, and zoom in on the upper right hand image. This is a photo simulation from the pool deck and ground floor area looking south, and you can see the blue there just above the hedges. So what I believe the neighbor letter was at the last hearing was that there was some existing mature hedging along the south property line that at some point was removed, and they were advocating for some privacy screening to be put back. And so you can see here in this image that our clients have replaced hedging along the south property line, which we can show you more in site plan, but it's about 12 feet. So it's a fairly mature hedge, and it's at a height where the ocean view to the south from our property is made available, which is a real value add to the property. And it's at a height where it's screening the neighbor to the south. You can tell in this image that the structures downhill are screened almost entirely from this viewpoint at the ground level. And as you look at the image on the left, panning slightly left, we're proposing an architectural screening element at the second floor deck to help. And this image is telling, we're actually proposing a planter box in front of this architectural element. And we turned it off in this image so that you can see the structures beyond. You can see we're really just looking at rooftops here. There's a little bit of viewpoint towards some windows and doors there, but just a little. And so our thinking is that this second story architectural element with a planter box with some vines that could grow up across this screening element will help provide privacy at this second floor roof deck, while again having a full hedge along the south property line at around 12 feet provides total screening and privacy at the ground floor, while still opening up the views towards the ocean from our property. And again, if you pan back and look at the aerial image of the exhibit below, as you zoom out, you can start to see this. We're also proposing some new trees to help with some taller vertical screening, kind of bookending either side of the ocean views from the ground floor. So the ocean views, which you can see diagrammed through this kind of cone through the center portion of the structure to the south. We've got ghosted in white proposed sycamore along the eastern side of that kind of view angle. And then there's some existing mature trees to the west of that view angle that are to remain, which helps screen the second story bedrooms on our property. So we feel that it's pretty adequate solution for kind of allowing for the views that are desirable while providing the maximum amount of screening possible. So that's really it in terms of what we'd present from an architectural standpoint. With us is our landscape architect who can give a brief presentation on the proposed landscaping.
Good afternoon, everyone. Scott Capps, landscape architect on the project. There have been no major landscape updates since the last hearing, aside from as what Eric, the architect, just walked through in terms of screening along that south property line. The only add to our planting plan, and we can skip to that sheet, I believe landscape set was first. The only add to our planting plan is the additional tree Eric just mentioned along the south property line. You know, right now that the final selection for that tree is still somewhat TBD, and quite honestly, it'll probably be dependent on what's available at nurseries at that time and what kind of fits the bill for what we're going for. But ultimately, we'd be selecting something evergreen and probably more upright in character. And again, the idea with adding this tree in is just to add another layer of screening over towards that kind of western corner of the property to screen that upper level volume of the architecture set, you know, further back within the site. Other than that, there are no other landscape items to mention.
So are you gentlemen done with your presentation?
We are, yes, sir.
Okay, questions, Dave?
Is the 12-foot hedge on the south property line, is that something that's proposed or actually something that's there now?
That's installed.
It's installed and it's already 12 feet?
Correct.
Thanks.
Stacy, questions, please?
Yeah, what species is that hedge that's already 12 feet?
It's Ficus nitida, Stacy.
Okay. And then two, you have, so the yellow tree that you have described as Quercus engelmann, either Cedrus deodara or Aloes nobilis, those are the first two are, I would say, considerably the same size, but that Laurus nobilis is much smaller. Would you consider taking that off of the probabilities list for that particular tree?
Yeah, definitely. I will say, Stacy, this is pretty kind of magical site in terms of borrowed landscape. And when we were looking for selections of what this tree wanted to be, I was looking at neighboring properties and tying into the kind of larger tree canopy that you experience. And we did notice some bays, but you're right. It would be smaller than, the Engelmann oak or the Eudora cedar. So we can pull that off.
Okay, yeah, those are my two questions. That's it.
Rob, questions, please.
I don't have any questions.
There was a sheet 21, PDF 21. The south property line planting. I don't see any notations on there about existing or future work about those plants, and I could not read the symbols, find those symbols in the plant list or the hedging. Can you explain what it is you're doing down there? There's a green, reddish brown, and hedging down there with a few other trees.
Yeah, I think what's not clear on this plan is that existing 12-foot high ficus hedge right along the property line. So that is essentially the white space that you're seeing in plan between that dash PL and then the colored planting. The larger colored bars along the drive, those are more of ground cover plantings, that will be layered in front of that existing hedge. And then the larger plant symbols we're starting to just layer in some different shrub material. All relatively low compared to that hedge, but the idea is to where we have space along the drive in between that existing hedge, we could get in some more planting.
And the next question is, would you be able to add more information about the 12-foot high hedge, what material it is, and it shall be retained? Would you be able to do that for the next review?
If you
please?
go to the first landscape sheet, our tree disposition plan, sheet L001, it's going to be about 15 pages back. We do call out that existing hedge along the southern property line to remain and be protected. We also list the species. If you go back one more sheet. I'm sorry. Go forward.
Sheet
There
9.
should be our tree disposition plan. Is it that's it. So both along the southern property line and the
Can you zoom in
western.
on that, please? There's a note.
Yeah, we have a note that calls out the existing hedge to remain and be protected. The only thing that's missing, I guess, is the height.
Yeah, okay, very good. So, and you'd be able to add the height.
Sure.
Okay. Public comment. Is there anybody that would like to address the board on item number 5, 750 Picacho Lane, please?
No requests.
Okay, we are on for final today. So, anybody comments? Dave?
Yeah, I think with that hedge, you've resolved the privacy issues, which were the main concerns, so I can support the project for final approval.
Stacy?
Yeah, I mean, I actually really like the project and I like the landscape design. I think it's great and I can support it. And especially since you dealt with that south side.
Rob?
I agree with the other board members.
As any observer of this board over the last number of years knows, I will not vote at preliminary for an FAR exceeding 1.1 unless there's a study, which you did not provide. But that's a different vote than final, which is, does this plan correctly represent what was being proposed at preliminary? And to me, that answer is yes. So I will vote affirmatively in this for this project, for this particular project. Is there a motion for final approval, please?
Make a motion for final approval.
Are there any conditions or just as submitted?
as submitted, I think is fine, except for maybe with one condition to provide a note that the ficus nitida hedge to be maintained at 12 feet high.
And what about that small small tree?
Oh, and the small tree to be struck from the Laurus nobilis, from the potential tree for that area.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, if I could interject. Conditions that require height limitations for vegetation are incredibly difficult to enforce. Is there a different planting or some other solution that would resolve your concerns as opposed to conditioning for maximum heights?
Well, how about, they want to maintain screening between the two houses because the house below was exposed along the road. Could we say that, Kimberly, to maintain adequate screening between the two houses?
Sure, you can put whatever condition you want. I just am, with my experience, conditions that have a maximum heights are a little bit difficult to enforce.
Okay, I can see that. So let's just say that the condition on the notation for the ficus nitida hedge is to maintain adequate screening from the neighbor below of the house above.
Neighbor to the south.
To the south.
The only comment on the height is it may be that if the neighbor's unhappy and you have specific language, they can point to it. So that's one reason for, in this case, to add that language. Because if they're
Yeah, because we don't want them, I mean, if they've
Can
done.
you just document it as an existing 12-foot hedge to remain?
Yeah, but that's inherently an oxymoron.
Why is
Yes,
that?
we could definitely say that the 12-foot hedge to remain.
What?
Yes, we could definitely put in the language 12-foot hedge to remain.
Okay.
I think that we should do 12-foot hedge. You know, my experience is you're not adequately protecting my view, but I'm actually 2 feet higher than what was approved, but you're not adequately protecting my house. So if it's 12 feet, you can go out with a tape measure and measure 12 feet and that's it.
Yeah, it's less subjective and more objective.
Yes, exactly.
Precision of 12 feet of protection.
And
Yeah,
it's existing.
and it's existing.
So it gets enforced by a neighbor complaining.
If a neighbor complains, some enforcement man or woman can go out with a tape measure and say 12 feet, that's what was approved.
Yep.
They have the right to keep it.
Yep.
Okay, so did you get that, Kimberly, at the end of that? We're gonna say,
The language will be the 12-foot hedge to remain. Is that correct?
okay, very good. So was there a second? Who made that motion?
That motion.
Is there a second?
Second that.
Any further discussion, please? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Thank you, gentlemen. Have a nice holiday. Is there a motion for adjournment, please?
So moved.
Thank
Is
you,
there a
everyone.
second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay, well, we have 4 right now. You better all show up in 2